Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to review and just take a look at how this Neouza espresso coffee puck screen works in relation to no screen, as well as my old stainless steel generic puck screen. This puck screen costs about $7 and it's available in 51, 53, and 58 cm. In case you haven't seen the old video, I'll drop a link for the old puck screen review for you to check out. Without further ado, let's go take a look at this new puck screen. This Neouza has precision holes on one side and larger flow holes on the other side, as you can see. Two sides seems to be pressed together, and one is for water flow and the other is for water distribution. Quality wise, it looks great. The logo, the finish, everything seems a lot better in quality. I'm not really quite sure how the two pieces are fused together, however. In the old screen, you can see some rough finishes, very different hole patterns, and it's more like a mesh. On one side, you get the finer mesh, but it looks like a radiator, and on the other side, it looks like a screen door. So I'm really curious about how the linear lines and the circular lines affect the water flow. The newer Nouveau screen is 0.08 mm only. It's about half of the thickness of the old ones. As you can see, two have very distinct different surfaces. In theory, the hole should distribute and dispense the water a lot better than the old one. You can see that the small outlet holes are a lot more refined than the old one. And on the larger side of the hole, you can see that the water should be able to flow through and distribute in the holes a lot better than the linear one. Here's some interesting experiment that we can start. So we're going to start off with just checking out how the water flows through a naked portafilter, right? The Breville has been known to have uneven water flows spreading out simply because of where the water spout is coming from. From here, we're going to take a look at how any channeling that might happen versus having a filter, the puck screen on. See that, you can see that the water flow coming from the 10 o'clock position, it always seems to have a delay. And let's compare that with having a puck screen on. We'll start off with the old one. With the old screen, the screen doesn't really fit the portafilter perfectly. And as you can see, as we run the water through the portafilter, the 9-10 o'clock position still seems to have a water flow issue coming out. As you can see, the water pulled out comes out more violently as well, maybe because of the gap delay. Now we can try the new filter or the new screen. Again, it's a bit hard to keep it flat without coffee, but interestingly, you can probably quickly see that the water is a lot less violent flowing out. It still has that little lag in the 9-10 o'clock position, but it's a lot less bubbly. So that's our experiment without coffee grounds. Granted, we're not really going to learn anything about that because there's no resistance going on. So now we're going to use the same conditions as much as we can. That means we're going to use the same amount of 18 grams of coffee, same coffee for everything. So same dose, running through the same grind, and then distributed, and then tamped at exactly the same way, or at least the best that I could, just to see whether or not channeling, flow, and coffee quality has any difference. Again, this is nothing scientific, but let's just see if there's any visible differences close up watching the extraction coming out. I'm not going to comment about the taste because it's quite subjective, so let's just take a look at how good the extraction looks. So we'll start off with no puck screen, right? So this is just a normal naked coffee ground, 18 grams, and let's take a look at how it extracts. And I'm just going to shut up now until the extraction is done. All right, quite interestingly, you can already see the same squirt at around 9-10 o'clock position. And then it's going to come out great. It's going to look okay. And then we're going to also see another squirt right now. Kind of interesting. After the extraction, you could take a look. The puck is obviously a bit wet, but at the same time, the puck distribution is okay. But obviously, one of the telltale signs of the not using a screen is the direct contact that the puck's upper surface has against the portafilter screen, and you can see that from the coffee grounds stuck on top. So next, we're going to look at the old puck screen, the steel one. And again, everything is the same. We try to do everything as evenly as we possibly can with the screen, with the dose, temp, and everything. Putting in the portafilter seems a lot tighter to begin with, and then you will also see immediate channeling at around the 9 o'clock mark again with this screen. But as a plus factor, you can see that the extraction, actually, I find it to be a little faster. The cone is probably shaped, the funnel cone looks a little different. But on the plus side, as always, when using the puck screen, our shower screen will be a lot cleaner than before. And honestly, like, tapping this out has always been a little bit of an issue for me, but not a big deal. And then finally, let's take a look at the new screen, the Nouveau screen, right? So again, the logo side down, the bigger holes facing up. The drop-in is obviously interestingly more simple. I guess it's more precise in terms of its diameter. I can just drop it down and it just sits flat. Now let's take a look at the flow. Interestingly, the flow initially looks a lot slower, but there's also immediate channeling that's happening in that area. It's not as violent as the second screen, and then the cone seems a bit larger, indicating quite a bit of tension from the coffee, and you also see less lines in the extraction. That kind of means that there's actually good mixture of the extraction compared to the previous two. And one thing that seemingly annoys me is with this puck screen is the coffee seems to stick to it, and it's kind of wet, and I always can't pull the puck screen out very cleanly. So that's something interesting to consider as well. Now here's something fun for everybody to look at. All right, we're gonna put all three side by side, extracting, and just kind of take a look at the quality of the initial output from the shower screen, from the portafilter, all the way to the end of the extraction itself. Granted, the second extraction seemed to occur a lot shorter than the other one, probably by a second or so, but in general, we can kind of see what the differences are. So, what do you think? Like, ultimately, does it really matter? From a taste perspective, I can see that the one with the newer screen really has a better body. But again, I don't want to comment on the taste part of it. But from an extraction and channeling control point of view, I don't think it really made that much of a difference, to be honest. I find that the not using a screen actually was more consistent for me after using all three for several weeks just to figure things out. But at the end of the day, not having to deal with a dirty shower screen was a big enough enticement for me to use the Nouveau. The reason why I don't use the older one is simply because it's so thick that I fear that A, it's going to scratch your shower head more. B, I think it adds unnecessary pressure because of the thicker surface of the puck screen. And I think that's a reason why there is a lot more like violent squirts that's going on, because the water essentially gets pressurized a lot higher closer to the surface of the puck before it even gets a chance to flow through. The Nouveau, I think, still offers a good enough depth for the water to pull inside the portafilter before it starts extraction. Again, if the concern is really controlling channeling and stuff, I think there is a flaw in where the Barista Express squirts the water out. So it's not really a puck screen issue, but how the water is distributed from the factory. But at the end of the day, as long as the coffee tastes good and the cleanup is a lot less messy, I think we can deduce that this is a win. Whether or not you choose this brand or not, I really don't think it matters. I think they're all roughly the same China maker anyway. So, having said that, I hope this video was fun for you to look at. Again, it's not supposed to be scientific or anything, so anything you want to comment, your own experience, let us know in the comment. And that's all I have for you for today. See you to the next video.